Hello, everyone. Welcome to CDBG office hours for July 24th, 2024. Welcome. As usual, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions, you can click the QA chat bubble to submit one. You may ask questions anonymously, but we do prefer leave your name, organization, or region associated with your question. The team will read questions out loud throughout the presentation and will provide answers if possible. And all questions will be saved and recorded as part of the public record. Did you know? By now, grantees should have submitted their program income financial report through June 30th, 2024, whether or not they received PI. What's new? So we did move, our headquarters moved to the Mei Lee State Office Complex. It's a very beautiful new building in Sacramento, 651 Bannon Street, Suite 400. That is the mailing address. I believe it's the mailing address for all of our units, except you just need to put the program name right above it. And is my audio okay, team? I'm getting
Yeah,
some feedback.
it's a little bit of back and forth, but I think you're still understandable. If not, we can jump in and take over.
Okay, sounds good. This recap from our last office hours. We are in the process of closing out CDBG contracts that ended June 2024. We were instructed to get all closeout materials and finance report in by 7/20/24. Unfortunately, the soonest we can get our closeout hearing scheduled is 8/1/24. Do we no longer have 60 days after the contract closed to hold a public hearing? Can we still submit everything by July 20th and just include the affidavit of posting public notice for the hearings? So the dates that everything is required is stipulated by the specific contract the grantee has with HCD. Over the past few years, there have been different dates, but we are working towards a more uniform process. From 22 and onward, the grantees have 2 years, 9 months to perform, 60 days after that to get the last reimbursement request submitted, and 36 months from contract execution to get all closeout documents submitted. It is dependent on the contract, but that is the plan going forward from 2022 on. So 2022 awards and onward should have that. We recommend reaching out to your signed CDBG rep to discuss the specifics of any late submissions. Would you please provide single audit requirements for 2024 grant applications? If there are finding concerns, on the latest single audit, will corrective action plan be sufficient to demonstrate clearance? If not, what type of documentation is required? We will be doing a single audit webinar for the 2024 NOFA that will be posted soon. You will want to have your most recent single audit, making sure that there is a corrective action plan with actual dates on when items will be corrected. We do look for that. This NOFA year requires fiscal year 22-23 single audit to be completed at the time of application. However, fiscal year 21-22 single audit will be the minimum. If you're including the 21-22 single audit, we will need documentation from the auditor that they have engaged with the grantee to complete the 22-23 single audit. Remember, if there are any findings or concerns on the single audits, the corrective action or clearance documentation will need to be provided as part of the application. Are the limits included in the proposed 2024 NOFA presentation still accurate for the upcoming NOFA? We haven't changed anything regarding the limits since the last discussion. You can also review the annual action plan for that information. The NOFA will be released soon, so you will have all the information. The total grant award limits for all activities combined shall not exceed 3.6 million. Competitive applications shall not exceed 300,000. OTC project applications shall not exceed 3.3 million, and OTC program applications shall not exceed 1.5 million. Can you repost the resolution page Q&A? Can we still use the 23-24 resolution? So we will be posting a new resolution for the 2024 NOFA. Please use the current resolution. How will the new NEPA regulations affect agencies for the two following areas for the 2024 application? Expanded use of programmatic reviews and tiering, expanded use of other federal agencies' categorical exclusions, and environmental reviews. So we are aware of those changes to the NEPA regulations from the Council on Environmental Quality. At this time, HUD does not expect these changes to significantly impact their programs. We do believe ours, we do not believe ours will be impacted, but we will wait to hear more information regarding those changes from our own team and HUD. Regarding programmatic review and tiering, we do require use of tiered reviews for housing rehab and economic development programs where the loans or other assistance could result in construction. Has there been discussion at HUD or HCD and how the Supreme Court Chevron ruling will affect HUD or HCD CDBG rules that aren't codified? This is brand new. Yes, we are aware, and we will await HUD direction as to how this really may affect our CDBG rules. There is likely more to come on that, but we will keep you posted when we know more. Is there going to be a template or specific language that needs to be included from the auditor to ensure the 22-23 single audit is in process? There will not be a template, but we will be checking to see that the letter of engagement for fiscal year 22-23 is on the auditor's letterhead. Will the update on the mayor required as the signatory, who do we list in
Tanner, you're roboting again.
the applicant information? This is currently tied to the resolution, and we want to understand what to look.
Tanner,
Jamie,
give us just a second.
give
Tanner,
her a
you are
moment.
roboting again. I can read the
Um,
slides out loud if you want to.
Zoom is saying my.
I would go off camera, Tanner.
Yeah,
See if that helps.
In the meantime, I will continue to read the slides. With the update on the mayor required as the signatory, who do we list in the applicant information? This is currently tied to the resolution and we want to understand. Oh, our PowerPoint is gone. Shannon, would you be able to pull that up again?
Give me 1 sec.
Thank you, Shannon. Sorry, everyone, for technical difficulties here.
See, Jeannie, I'm
I
only.
might be able to actually, I can share. Give me just a minute and I will share my screen. Let me just make sure I find the right page where we left off. Supreme Court fiscal year. Mayor. Okay, found it. Current slide. Office hour. Can everyone see my screen? If somebody on our team can let me know you can see my screen, that'd be great.
Can't see it yet, Jamie.
Not yet, thank you. How about now? It says I'm sharing.
I think Shannon is sharing right now.
I was able to screen share it for you.
Yeah, not on presentation mode though, Shannon. Can you switch to that?
Yeah, hold on.
Apologies, everyone, for the technical difficulties. Give us grace. We'll give you back grace when it's your turn.
So freaking close. Let's see. It's just my things being weird too, guys.
Okay, that's working now, Shannon. We're good.
Okay.
Can you
They're rare.
There you go. Thank you. So back to the slide. With the update on the mayor required as the signatory, who do we list as the applicant information? This is currently tied to the resolution, and we want to understand what to list on a PI application. There's an applicant section where you input the name of the person completing the application. And then there's a separate section for authorized signer, and the mayor would go in the authorized signer section, not the applicant section. Any updates on the 23 and 23A standard agreements? Everyone is in a different place in the process, so they will not all be done at once, but it's best to ask about a specific application by reaching out to the person sending the correction letter. For grantees that have all their conditional items in, we are working on getting those standard agreements routed. There have been some internal changes, so we are trying to get a clear path on what has been awarded and how to get the information out to you. Because we were told we could use the 23-24 resolution, most jurisdictions have approved that resolution for the 2024 application. Will that still be acceptable to submit? Most jurisdictions have limited council meetings and will be difficult to get on the agendas between NOFA release and application opening. If you already have the 23-24 resolution signed from the 2023 A NOFA, that should be fine for counties. For cities, we are actually, I am going to new development on this right after the slide was created. For cities, we should still be able to use the same resolution. More information on that to come. We received notice from SHPO that they no longer require OOR programmatic agreements. Would HCD provide some guidance on what documentation will be expected in the ERR for homes under 50 years old? This would be a question best for the environmental services team to get an understanding of what needs to be included in the environmental review record. Please reach out to nipa@hcd.ca.gov. Can HCD post the response regarding SHPO? We can post the response received from the NEPA team in the next office hours if we get a response. To confirm, $0 financial requests do not require signatures from the signatory. Yes, that is correct. It seems like the resolution may need two designees on. It seems like the resolution may need two designees, a financial designee and a person who's the day-to-day contact. Yes, you can designate two different people even on the current version of the resolution. The person designated in section 6 of the current resolution can sign the financial reports. The rest of the sections are for contract and amendments. That concludes all our questions from our last office hours. We will now go to current Q&A questions. From Lori, PI reports, where do we find this?
I can try to answer this one, Jeannie. Hi, Lori. So we started a PI program income receiving and reporting solicitation, and we've had most of the jurisdictions report kind of, I think it was back when it was released, your PI cash on hand balance as of 12/31/2021. And then from there, we've been kind of building on that in this solicitation. So we are creating a list of jurisdictions that we have not engaged with yet, and we will be reaching out specifically to those jurisdictions. But if you want to get started, I'll post a link in the chat later for the solicitation, and it kind of looks like a regular CDBG application. So you would just go in and you just kind of fill in the application and you submit to us, and then we'll review what you've submitted and then follow up and give you kind of a lot more guidance on this. We are also in the process of developing PI training, so a lot more information on PI will be coming in the next few weeks, hopefully. So thanks for the question.
And Mike, is it correct to point folks to the Grants Management Manual Appendix 6- 6-7 is a program income policy. Appendix 6-6 is the policy. 6-7 is instructions for submitting program income, and then 6-8 is actually a receipting form. So I believe the solicitation would follow the same procedures, but those resources are online as part of the grants management manual.
Yes, thank you, Anne. And it looks like Shannon's posting the links in the chat, so thank you, Shannon.
And just as a heads up, Mike, and to everybody too, that PI reporting link is actually going to be expiring at the end of August. So I'm hoping maybe, Mike, we can see about
Send
extending.
it, Shannon.
Okay.
And I also posted the guide and the reporting form to the chat. All right, next question is from Janice. Is the 2024 NOFA release still scheduled for next week? Is session scheduled?
I can take that one. Thank you, Jeannie, and thank you, Janet, for your question. We are working very hard to try to make sure that that release is going to happen next week. So that is still the scheduled plan. If anything does change, we'll send out an e-blast and let everybody know, but fingers crossed, and we're hoping it's going through the routing process now for approvals. So we're still hopeful that we'll have it by next week. That's our goal. As far as is session scheduled, I'm not sure I understand the question.
I can take that.
You can
Susan.
take that. Okay, thanks, Jeannie.
The NOFA sessions have not been scheduled yet. We are waiting for the NOFA to be released before we schedule the sessions. Thank you, Janet. Next question is from Brandy. Regarding the resolutions, some jurisdictions we are working with have used the 23A24 resolution for the 2024 application because of timing of governing bodies, lead time for submitting documents for their agenda. Will those not be accepted in the 2024 application? I can take that, Brandy. So the resolutions from the 2023A application will be accepted for the 2024 application cycle. The caveat to that is for cities, because for cities, as long as the mayor was designated as the authorized signer, we should be okay. If some other position was designated as the authorized signer, you will need either a municipal code or ordinance that designates that authority to the other position. Thank you, Brandy. Next question. Oh, sorry. Oh, I didn't see your comment. Sorry, Brandy. So next question is from Luis. Did we hear that OOR requires a tiered NEPA review? We've been trying to get HCD approval of a tiered NEPA for OOR since June 5th and have loans waiting for approval.
I can take this one. Thank you for your question, Louise. It's case dependent. So what I would do is reach out to your program representative and they can follow up with our environmental team and see what's going to be required and what the status is of what you've submitted already. So that's the best we can give, because all projects are so different, and the NEPA review process can, in general, it should be tiered, but we can't confirm without more specifics. So if you could reach out to your program representative, they can give you some better clarification knowing the specific.
Thank you, Susan. Next question is from Roxanne. I've been trying to get a hold of someone in the NEPA department for several weeks, and I am getting no response. I tried to email a couple of employees directly, but it appears that they are gone now. Is there anyone monitoring the email box?
I can take that one too. Thank you, Roxanne. So totally appreciate your frustration. Again, I'm going to direct you to reach out to your program representative instead, because they can have a little more direct line. Our environmental team has gone through some staffing changes. You're right about that. And some processing changes also. So we really appreciate your patience as they work through those and get their team back fully staffed. But in the meantime, we do have a direct line to them. So I would reach out to your program representative and ask them to reach out to the NEPA team to get the information that you need.
Thank you, Susan. Next question is from Lori. Okay, the current receiving report, and it would be reported a 0.
Yeah, hi Lori. Even if you have 0, if they have not reported or received any PI, we still would like to have them in our system just for tracking purposes. And also, if anybody out there has received less than $35,000 in a fiscal year, we do have a procedure for defederalizing those funds. So taking those funds, moving them out of your PI account and into your general fund. We have kind of specific requirements for that, and it's detailed in our PI policy document, so you can look at that. But yeah, even if you have 0 reported, we would still like, a report for the year just saying we haven't reported any PI, and just to, stay engaged and keep those, get all the reports for all of our jurisdictions that are non-entitlements.
Thank you, Mike. Next question is from Luis. Is there a way to determine what a CD is showing as the current grantee's PI balance?
Hi, Luis. Yeah, I would reach out to your rep, and they can coordinate with our PI team and get you those balances. But yeah, we can very easily pull that information for you.
Thank you, Mike. Next comment is from Jeff. Gosh, folks, this meeting keeps breaking up on my end. Hope it gets better. Have a great day.
Yeah, I'll address that. So many apologies for the technical difficulties of today, but of course we will be providing another wrap up at our next office hours, and the newsletter. You can kind of watch for the question and answers. But if anyone is having still technical difficulties, we're not hearing it on our end anymore. But if you did, just reach out to the CDBG inbox at cdbg@hcd.ca.gov, and we can try and address things there and then add them to these office hours if appropriate. So really apologize for the technical difficulties, and thank you so much for your patience while we work through that today.
Thank you, Susan. From Emmanuel in our chat, sorry I missed the response to if 2024 NOFA is still set to be released by the end of July. What was the response to the question? Susan, if you want to repeat your answer.
Yeah, I can repeat. So yes, we are currently, fingers crossed, on track for a release at the end of the month. Don't anticipate any hiccups to that. So we're moving forward as though that's what's going to happen. But if by chance the skies fall for some reason, we'll send an e-blast out and announce it to everyone. But that's not even on my radar, because I'm going forward like it's going to be released the end of the month, which was our goal. So that's our hope, but we'll keep you posted if anything changes.
So a question from Jeff in the chat. Can you please elaborate on the specifics of the tier review process for ED loans?
I could take that, and hopefully my audio is a little better. So we do offer information about tiered reviews in Chapter 3 of our Grants Management Manual. So please review that chapter. Looking at it now, I believe the helpful information will be on page 3-29 in that chapter.
Thank you, Tanner. Next question is from Colleen. We were told that the NEPA had to be approved by our NEPA team before we could put out for public notice. If they are having staffing issues and can't expedite review, then we can't submit a fully completed NEPA by OTC first date.
Yeah, I can take that too. Thanks for your question, Colleen. I know everyone's concerned about that, I'm sure. They are doing the best that they can, but I would say reach out to your program representative or the CDBG unit inbox that I mentioned earlier, and we can try to get you some more specific information. We do need the environmental team does prefer that the NEPA be approved before you go out to public notice, but under the circumstances, we can see what we can do with that. So yeah, if you could just reach out to your program representative, we can give you some further information, and we'll share it with everyone if appropriate also. So thank you for that.
Next is from Bridget. With the 2024 NOFA, ED programs have changed from being competitive to OTC, which means that there's less time to submit an application if we are going to have a chance of award. With past NOFAs, you've required that the applicant has hired staff that has the required qualifications to run a CDBG ED program. It states that the applicant must have a draft contract or subrecipient agreement with a qualified consultant or nonprofit ED group with direct experience in CDBG ED implementation. It also states that we cannot change consultants after award, so the draft contract needs to be the result of a competitive bidding process in order to know who the consultant will be. This assumes that we have to complete an RFP process before the NOFA is released, because that is not something that can happen in 1 month, whereas when it was competitive, we had 3 months to complete the process. Is the RFP expected to happen within a month of the NOFA release? I will have to take a look at our NOFA, Bridget, and get back to you on that. I am unsure how to answer you at this moment. Next question is from Jade. Following up on Colleen's concern, could we possibly submit a draft with email proof that we submitted it to the NEPA team for review?
I can take that one. Thank you, Jade, for that question. We will take that into consideration. We're, based on some of the questions and comments we've had about these concerns, what we'll do is we'll meet up with the environmental team and see what our options are, and make sure and let everyone know if there is another option. But I would highly recommend you reach out to your program representative, and they can give you in writing some more detailed info on that. But we'll reach out to them and let them know of the concerns and see what options we may have.
Next question is from Colleen. Can you repeat the answer to the new resolution template? OTC projects need to go to council ASAP in August, as most jurisdictions take August off and don't have meetings to approve. Ours is August 6th and need resolution by this Friday to submit for council public meeting notice. So Colleen, I can take that and I can answer your question. So we are getting clarification from our legal department to ensure that the current resolution that we have is acceptable for cities. The biggest takeaway is that for cities, the mayor or mayor pro tempore has to be the authorized signer, unless there is a local ordinance or municipal code stating otherwise. Next question is from Paul. 1, Jeannie alluded to more information coming soon on the city resolution process. When will we get that? 2, I think everyone would really appreciate a heads up if the NOFA will be delayed, as it gives folks a bit of time for council meetings. We keep hearing hope it comes out a lot, so it sounds doubtful at this point. No?
Thank you, Paul. I can take that for you. So as far as the city resolution process, in a nutshell, the city mayor is required to be the authorized signer for all things contracts and amendments. All the other stuff you can designate someone else. Now, if the city mayor is not going to be the authorized signer, then what we're going to need is a copy of an ordinance or municipal code that that designates a different person, like the city manager or someone else that is authorized to sign contracts. So short of that, we don't anticipate for the resolution to change for this 2024, right, Jeannie? Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I totally forgot. We got an answer from LAD during our impromptu call regarding the resolution. Let me pull it up. The resolution we have is actually okay for cities. Let me pull up the resolution and share it with everyone so we can tell you in which sections the mayor needs to be the authorized signer. and which section they do not. So on our current resolution template, the one that was posted in 23A, as well as what's going to be posted in 2024, there are 3 sections where you designate a position as the authorized signer. And I believe, let me see, we are still so on section 4 for cities, it has to be the mayor unless there's a local ordinance or municipal code designating somebody else. And because section 4 can be anyone, not the mayor, because it is application stuff. So NEPA signature, statement of assurance signature, submitting the application, that can be a city official that is not the mayor. Section 5 must be the mayor. Anyone who is signing the standard agreement must be the mayor. And section 6 is for financial reports. So
Jeannie, your screen is not sharing. Did you mean to share it? Yeah, it's
so sorry,
confusing everyone. So
I'm so sorry.
No, I appreciate you doing a walkthrough on this. I know it's confusing and we want to make sure we give as much information as needed for everyone.
Sorry, everyone. Hold one moment.
While Jeannie's pulling that up, I can answer the second half of your comment and question, Paul, that everyone would like a heads up if it's delayed. We're planning on it going out on time. We just are hesitant to give a solid and be held to that. So that's why we're saying, hope it comes out. So, but it's not doubtful. We are anticipating that it will be released next week. I guess there's a tiny element of doubt because when it's routing, we just don't know, if they come back with something or if, the director's office has issues or comments, but we are in the final stages of it. So we do anticipate for it to come out and I would count on that. Okay, Jeannie, sorry. I'm going to hand it back over to you to go over this.
Thank you, Susan, for taking care of that. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, perfect. So section 4, where you designate an official to execute and deliver all applications and act on the city's behalf pertaining to such applications, you can designate anyone other than the mayor or the mayors, should you choose. This person can sign the NEPA, the statement of assurances, submit the application, anything application related. This section 4 does not have to be the mayor. Section 5, that deals with the execution of grant agreements and any recordable or non-recordable contract documents. This must be the mayor unless we have a local ordinance stating otherwise. They are also going to be the one who needs to sign standard agreements, any amendments, any regulatory agreements. So if you are a city, you will need to use, and I apologize, you will need to use this form because we have included the words any recordable or non-recordable contract documents. And then section 6, this is the person who can sign financial reports. This person does not have to be the mayor. You can designate any other official from the city, but they are allowed to sign the financial reports come once the award is awarded, application is awarded. I hope that made sense. I'm sorry if I confuse anyone by not having this up.
No, thank you, Jeannie. That was really helpful. So in a nutshell, the mayor or someone else designated by city ordinance or municipal code, the mayor is the one that is required by health and safety code to sign contracts and amendments. Other than that, there are these 2 other sections on the resolution where you can designate a different person besides the mayor. We're trying to make this as easy as we can. I know it's really confusing as we're implementing this, but hopefully that kind of gives you sort of a nutshell view of what we're going to be looking for. So mayor for all things contracts, other designees can be indicated on the resolution in section 4 and section 6. And of course, if you have questions about it at a more granular level, reach out to your program representative and we can give you some solid wording depending on your situation. So thank you for doing that, Jeannie. And thanks for your question, Paul. I know everybody has this question.
Okay, so next is Jade. Is there any anticipation on NOFA releases getting back on schedule for beginning of the year release dates? We had the same situation as Colleen during this time of year. The Board of Supervisors for our county has a lot of dark days, and we are going through general budget approvals.
Thank you, Jade. I can take this question also. So it's one of the things we've been trying to do by releasing these NOFAs as quickly as we can. You know, we've basically done 3 of them in the last, 9 months once we get the 24 out. So we're working really diligently to get back on track. So we do anticipate, and that is our goal for in 2025 to be back at the beginning of the year. And we know that there are a lot of dark days and a lot of construction schedule issues that may happen. So what I would do if you do get an award, then I would reach out to, if you're given a preliminary award, then you can reach out to the person that provided you with that letter and let them know what your construction timeline may be in your particular area. And we can try to tailor the standard agreement execution to match that, to give you the most amount of time to complete the projects that you're proposing to do. So we can give you some more detailed information if you reach out to your program representative about it. But that's basically what we're doing here, is working really hard to get back on track, get things caught up. COVID kind of threw a wrinkle in everything for a few years, and we're doing a little cleanup and catch up. But we do anticipate that for 2025, we anticipate that to be released at the beginning of the year. Again, I unfortunately, I can't give a solid, this is going to be the date. We do our best to give that anticipation date, but there's more approvals and routings and other folks, LAD that needs to take a look at our stuff, and things change, and HUD changes, and regulations and policies and things. Sometimes we have to incorporate those. So we are doing our best to get back on track, and we do anticipate for 2025 to be at the beginning of the year. Probably not well, I can't say not January, but that would be an ambitious goal. But the January, February is our anticipated date for 2025 as it stands for now. So hopefully that's helpful. I know it would be better to give solid, but unfortunately that's just a little too difficult to do. So thanks for the question, Jade. We do appreciate that, and we do appreciate your comments on it as well. So we'll do the best we can to accommodate, of course.
Thank you, Susan. Next question is from Colleen. Can eCivis be opened for OTC projects closer to 60 days that the competitive ones get? It's a huge hardship to get a construction project together in 30 days after NOFA.
I can take that question too. Thank you, Colleen. We really do appreciate these comments, and knowing what you're going through on your end is helpful for us for our process improvement. I can say that unfortunately with OTC projects, it is a first come, first serve. So I know it's difficult to get the construction project together 30 days after the NOFA, but this is the process that we're in. And we, essentially it is open for the 60 days until the funds are exhausted. So with the first come, first serve, you just need to be ready, have all your ducks in a row to be able to hit that submit button. Before the application submission period opens, you can work closely with your program representative, or hit the CDBG unit inbox, and we can still answer questions and try to help you get everything you need together and answer any of those. Once the application submission opens, we're unable to answer any questions to give anyone any kind of a competitive advantage. So keeping that in mind, I would reach out with any concerns that you have, and we can try to give you individual direction on those to get you ready to hit that submit as soon as the time frame comes open. But we do appreciate these comments, and there are things we can take into consideration. Our ultimate goal is to help you be successful with what you need in your communities. So we're always trying to do what we can to make that happen. Appreciate your feedback. Thank you, Colleen.
Next is from Jade. In the past, we had to provide a memo with the specific names of those who carry the titles included as designees on the resolution. Will this need to be included as well as authorized personnel proof? if I'll try to take a stab at this, Jade, and please let me know if I'm not answering your question. Since our resolution does state that there is a or designee option, if you are not a city, the city is always going to now be the asterisk to all these answers regarding the resolution. If you are not a city, you are allowed to provide us a letter of some sort designating other persons to be able to sign documentation. I'm hoping that answers your question, Jade. Next question is from Paul. So will 2023 A awardees need to do this new resolution? You had some folks already revise one and it does not match what you just shared. Susan, correct me if I am wrong. I believe we had decided that for 2023 A, we are allowing it to go as is.
Yeah, the new resolution information is for 2024 on. We did, fortunately, we discussed with LAD that we'll be implementing the new mayor resolution situation for 2024 going forward. So 23A, you should be good to go, assuming you've handled what's in your corrective letter. If that wasn't one of them, then we are not going to require this new health and safety code. We're trying to ease into this. It is a code that's been there for years. We just didn't previously have a tracking mechanism and a process for enforcing. Now we do. So we are doing that 2024 going forward. So 2023A, it's not gonna, we're not gonna be requiring the same for that. So hopefully that's helpful. Thank you, Paul.
So next question is from Colleen. Is the reso that was just shared being emailed out to us with the changed wording? I see Tanner shared the 2023 reso. I can answer that. We will be releasing the 2024 resolution with the revised wording when we release the NOFA. Unfortunately, it has yet to be ADA remediated, so I'm unable to release it at this moment. Thank you, Colleen. The next question is from Jim. Regarding Jade's question, in the past, there was a separate signatory form to be submitted. Is that older signatory form now gone? I will try to answer that as well. Unfortunately, I've only been with the CDBG program for about a year and a half now, and as far as I know, we do not have a signatory form anymore, at least.
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you, Tanner. Next question is from Luis. The website has a 2023 CDBG resolution, Appendix C. Is this a 2023 A resolution that will be accepted for the 2024 resolution? Colleen, I am not sure where you are seeing this. I know that the different solicitations have their own resolution. If it's for a city, no. If it is for a county, we will accept the 2023 A resolution. Next question is from Brandy. If in section 4 or 6, the mayor is listed in the already approved resolution, but another employee will carry out those duties, can we submit a letter to assign the designee? I don't know. I'm so sorry, Brandy. I don't have an answer for you. I think that is something we will need to get back to you on. Unless Susan, you can take it.
No, I think the resolution is what we seem to be having a lot of questions about the resolution. So we're going to try to provide everybody some clarified information soon about that. But yeah, I think the resolution handles the designating. So Jeannie's correct. Let's follow up with this one for Brandy and give her a better answer.
Thank you, Susan. Next question is from anonymous attendee. As a city who already has an ordinance designating the city manager to sign on behalf of the mayor, do we need to use the new resolution template? if it is not released on time. Our public hearing is scheduled for August 5th, 2024, and the agenda needs to be posted by August 1st, 2024. So I'm banking on being able to add the new template as soon as it is released with the NOFA, but it doesn't actually apply to us. It would be helpful to know that we can proceed with the old version. Same with this one, I'm unsure of the answer at this moment, and I would feel more comfortable answering this after doing a little bit more research, especially with given that this whole mayor process is a little new to us as well.
Right.
We will get back to you at our next office hours. If you would like to shoot us a email, your email address, I believe our next office hours is going to be after your public hearing, which is August 5th. Our next office hours is August 7th. So if you would like to send us an email to our CDBG inbox, cdbg@hcd.ca.gov, we would be more than happy to provide you an answer. Louise, where can we find the 2023A resolution? The 2023A resolution can be found in the 2023A solicitation.
It's also posted in the chat.
Thank you, Tanner. I believe that takes care of all the questions in the chat and in the Q&A. We will give everyone a few more minutes for some last minute questions. Alrighty, seeing that there are no more questions coming in, I believe we can end a little early today.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Jeannie. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Tanner.
Yes, and thank you to all attendees for your patience on our technical difficulties. Appreciate it.